Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man, Brad Gilmore, here with me. And man, we getting ready to do this. But I tell you, Brad, I must tell you, I woke up this morning a little bummed out. It's been one of those days. I've been in a funk, you know what I'm saying? But, and I know what it was. It was because I didn't wake up trending this morning. It's got to be what it was. But no, man, I just want to say thank you, all of you guys for stepping inside the chat with me. I see all of you guys are excited right now. Everybody is ready to go. And the thing is, we might as well get right into it.
Let's do it, Book.
Brad, let's get right into it right off the bat here inside the Hall of Fame. Address the elephant inside the room. Isn't that what they say, Brad?
That's what they say.
Inside the room. Yeah, man. I reiterate, as far as the CM Punk thing, I didn't expect it to get taken out of context in so many different media outlets. The way they wrote the story from the outset, some of it was just wrong. And the thing is, I don't know if you guys listened to the actual show or just read the clip. And I got a lot of backlash from that, so just like I said, let me reiterate. I said that the moment for CM Punk would equate to, for me, that moment that Jericho had here in Houston and at the Fertitta Center in front of 5,000 people where they sang him out to the ring. It's like, man, that's something that he's going to remember for the rest of his life, because that was a moment. It was so organic and so, heartfelt, such as, coming out in your backyard in Chicago, Illinois, 20,000 plus people chanting your name after being away for so long. Was that a moment? Man, of course it was a moment. Like I say, I've been in front of big arenas, big stadiums, big crowds where people make you feel, man, good God. It's like when I came back in 2011 to the Rumble, and I walked out, and man, my right hand was shaking because I was wondering, man, are the fans really gonna embrace me? And I was like, wow. I always say, man, I always tell people that the story that I felt like The Rock was standing behind me because, or the Road Warriors from 1986 was standing behind me because the pop was like so loud. And I was like, man, they really care for me, So I totally understand that moment. I was talking about there again, the promo, and I was talking to you, Brad, about the promo, and I said, Brad, tell me, and I want to challenge you guys in the chat here too. I say, tell me three things that tell me what you remember from the promo. And you couldn't name but three things.
Right.
And like I say, the promo was, right at 10 minutes. And I say, if you can't remember but three things, I say, okay, tell me what those three things were, Brad.
I said I remembered the ice cream bars.
Yeah.
I remembered him challenging Darby Allin. Yeah. And I remember him talking about 2005 was the last time he was a professional wrestler.
Okay, you just said that in about 15 seconds. Okay, yes. And it was, like I say, 10 minutes. That was out there, and I say, man, the promo. I say it could have been so much more than I don't know, just a chat with the fans as far as I'm back. Because and the reason I say that is because this is the reason I say that. I don't like saying stuff without, having an explanation. I say that because this is professional wrestling, okay? And you're always entertaining. You remember you asked me the question, I guess it was about a year ago, Kenny Omega talking about, the NXT guys are here and, I'm here.
Yeah.
You remember that? And you remember it got around to the point that where he was talking in character or out of character. And I said, if he's in character, which he should be all the time, if there's a camera rolling, it's all about the entertainment. So I say that because of that and that only. was the promo, you know, of the liking of the fans that watched it? Of course. Obviously, the people that watch AEW, man, they were just happy to see him Punk back. And the thing is, if I was a fan and looking at it from a fan's perspective, I would be okay with it too. Okay, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, and I think that, I mean, I understood where you're coming from on Monday's show.
Excuse me. Not a fan of, I don't want people to take that out of context. Not a fan of CM Punk. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm talking about a fan of the business, looking at it from that perspective. I'm not looking at it from a fan from the business perspective. I'm looking at it from a person that, just say, for instance, an artist perspective.
No, and I get that. I get that. I want to ask you a couple of questions that I think we'll clear this up real quickly. The first question is this, because this is what everybody was talking about online yesterday. Just answer. And you know what? I even see it right now in the chat. I just saw it in the chat. Exercise and Freedom says, do you and CM Punk have heat? Is there any heat there?
Me and CM Punk, we've never had any words with each other or any heat. And people thought I had heat with CM Punk when he went to the UFC. And I said a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't say, or just, just didn't want to say for certain reasons. And I was talking about CM Punk going to the UFC from a fighter's perspective. I've been a fight, lover since I was a kid. I've been like someone who studies it, from a different perspective than most. I was one who thought I was going to be a fighter at one point in time, and I trained to actually do it. It just didn't work out. I actually being a professional wrestler, but I do know what those guys go through to get to that point to where they, get in the sport. And a lot of them make it, to the big time. Some of them are just club fighters. Some of them don't make it at all, but they put in a whole lot of work. And when CM Punk tried to do it, I didn't think it was a good idea. And I don't know if you remember or not. I put the onus more on the UFC.
I do remember
letting CM Punk do that, because I thought they were using him from a carrot dangling perspective to get his fans to come over to the UFC. So I get it, I understand it, but I was talking from a realistic perspective in that
only. Yeah, I actually think you said that they put him in a position to fail. But let's go back to the promo and the whole thing. Do you think CM Punk did something wrong by bringing up WWE?
Was it wrong? No.
Okay.
It wasn't wrong.
You just wouldn't have done it if you were him.
Well, I just thought it was just so much more meat on that bone as far as AEW is concerned to actually, start, carving into, because there again, man, this is something new. It's fresh. And for me, I'm a veteran. I'm a professional. I'm thinking about trying to, there again, make it even bigger. So whatever I had, coming into this game, I mean, my mother told me this here: if you ain't got something good to say about somebody, don't say something. Don't say nothing at all. So I'm from that school. Is it like I say, was it wrong? No, it wasn't wrong. But like I say, it was just so much more entertainment there for me. Just say, for instance, I don't know if you guys remember when I was on WWE Backstage, we had this thing called promo school.
Yes.
I had to do promo school every week. All right. Because, they could go to me and, they say, Book, we got this guy. You're going to be talking about him. He's going to be talking about you. And the thing is, I thought at that point in time, I was representing all of the wrestlers, because I was going against guys who wasn't from the wrestling world. And if I didn't break these guys down from a promo perspective, I was going to look bad. So I prepared to go out and cut a promo. So I would do my research. I would figure out what I'm going to talk about. I would get my landmarks. I would make sure something rhymed, whatever, and went out and entertained. And that's the part I'm talking about. I just thought it could have been a whole lot more entertainment there from CM Punk on the return. Like I say, what did he do anything wrong? No, he didn't. Did the promo work for me? No, it didn't. But did it work for a lot of other people? Yeah.
Was his return moment awesome?
It was look here, bro. Didn't I say it before? I don't know how most people that's walking around, they've never experienced walking out in front of, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people, and everybody's cheering for them. If you've never felt that, it's hard to even sit here and, articulate, what that really means and what that really feel like. So for CM Punk to be gone for 7 years and to be ingratiated by the fans after that long, man, it was a moment, because you're not getting any younger. And every time for me, I always say, if it wasn't for the fans, there would be no me. Okay. And that's not cliche. That's real talk. I know we got to take a break. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Independent wrestling is full of charismatic persona, incredible athleticism,
Shooting star, press from pressure, covered.
and at times, complete chaos.
Got attention. Don't do it, Will. Oh my gosh! Senton bomb through the table.
This is where the young guys, the young girls come today to pay their dues, to learn the craft, to start the journey to become the next wrestling superstar. I'm WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, and these are the Indies. Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah. And the thing is, let's get right back into it. I know a lot of people think, that, I see it. Booker T's just one-sided. He's biased.
You're a company shill, Booker T.
And I've seen, and the thing is, I don't know. I don't think I've never been that way. I think I've always been pretty much straight up. I've never been one-sided and said, hey, I like this. Whatever you've asked me, I've answered the question. I've never been one to shy away from anything. There is no elephant in the room here inside the Hall of Fame. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about CM Punk if that was the case. I tell you, I try to look at everything from the same perspective and give it all the same, so to speak, weight. And just say, for instance, when Chris Jericho fell off the cage, so many people, totally just ate that story up. This, that, whatnot, and the other. But I know Chris Jericho's and what he's out there doing. He's out there there again. The word I always use, entertaining. He ain't about going out there and hurting himself and putting himself on the shelf to go out there and do some overly, stupid stunt to get a rise out of the internet. That's just not going to happen. Then we go to the death match with Nick Gage, and I tell you, man, it was an awesome match, but it was one of the safest matches that you could ever do from that perspective. And I said it was going to be that way before it ever happened. You asked the question, will Nick Gage be able to go out there and be, controlled from, and I say, of course he will be. I say, because this is TV, this is a big shot for him. So many people hated on me for giving Nick Gage props. So many people hated on me for giving this guy props because he got a tooth missing. It's amazing. No, I'm serious. It's amazing the hate one get for praising someone or just having a comment about someone like CM Punk. Like I said, CM Punk and I, we don't have any beef with each other. If I saw him, I'll tell him, man, you could have did so much more with that promo. I was looking for the pipe bomb. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so if you can't respect that as a man, because I'm willing to say to a man's face what I say on the air. Okay, when I see him in public, because I'm not going to belittle a man on the air, because I'm a man and I know how I would feel. But if you got some constructive criticism about Booker T, and I hear it, and it go in the right ear, and I go, man, you know, he might be right, you know, but I'm not going to hate on the guy or anything like that. That's just my point.
So let me ask you this. I just want to clear up things that people say on the internet. Has WWE or did WWE tell you to say anything that you've ever said on this show? Have they had influence? Have they made phone calls when you brought up AEW and said, Booker, don't talk positively about AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact, any other wrestling company but us?
You know, I represent the wrestling world. I've been in this thing over 30 years now, and I have a bunch of young guys out there right now that's, you know, making it in ROH, getting tryouts in AEW, getting, you know, signed in WWE. And my thing is this, man, if I can get these guys in some work anywhere in the world, Japan, I'm going to get them there. And if I could talk about it, because it ain't about me. It ain't about WWE. It's about the wrestling world. It's about these young guys being able to have somewhere to work. And WWE cannot supply every wrestler out there trying to get a job. That's just not going to be able to happen. So the more places out there to work, the better off the wrestling world is going to be, as far as I'm concerned. WWE is always going to make their money. That's going to be there. But as far as the company telling me to do anything, no. That has never happened. They do call me sometime to get people on the show, and that's about it.
And so does AEW.
And so does AEW.
Yeah. I mean, I just, the thing that I guess frustrates me sometimes is, you know, the audience on social media, not our audience. By the way, Hall of Fame's audience is the best audience in all of wrestling, radio, or podcasting. We have some of the greatest listeners that are always here every single week. But that was you. I was like, wait, is this in my head? Is this in my head? But you did get me. I think that we have the greatest audience. I do get frustrated when people say, "Oh, Booker's a shill. He's a company man. He doesn't say what's real. He bites his tongue." Because I've known you for too long, and sometimes you say things to where I'm thinking, "Oh, Book, calm down. Don't get there." But one thing I know that you're not, and this is the really one thing I want to address. One thing that I know you're not is a hater. You've never been a hater. You've always said if somebody's out there getting money, great for them. If someone's out there living their life, great for them. I don't have anything to do with it. Do I think that you hated on CM Punk? The person? No. Do I think that you made a comment that you didn't love the promo? Yeah. Could the promo have been better? Absolutely. I will stick by what I said, though, of I think the moment overall was bigger than the promo. But here's the difference, and this is what the chat needs to understand, and people on the internet. I look at things as the fan of wrestling. You look at things as the expert of wrestling. There's a difference there. You see things with different eyes than I do, right? I see, man, what a crazy moment. This was awesome, right? You say, man, it was awesome, but it could have been better. I see where it could have been better, right? And that's coming from you as a teacher. You've taught for 16, 17 years at professional wrestling school. That comes from you being a teacher. I think that the internet, again, saw a clip where you said CM Punk struck out because he brought up WWE and ice cream bars. That was the headline. And that was such an inaccurate representation of your thoughts as a whole. If I were to sum up what you said is, I thought the moment was awesome. It could have been better. That really, one statement sums it up, and you wouldn't have brought up WWE. A lot of guys who, when they jump over there, bring up WWE, and it's kind of a thing. In some ways, I can understand him bringing it up because it is a big part of his story. Why have you been away for 7 years? Let me tell you why. But all that is to say is I don't think that you're a hater. I don't think you've ever been a hater. And if you were a hater, we wouldn't put CM Punk in the intro video for your show, The Indies. If you hated CM Punk, you wouldn't have brought him down to Reality of Wrestling. If you hated CM Punk, you probably had a little pull at WWE backstage and said, "Don't hire this man," right? Or made it difficult. But none of those things happened. Of course, you were never going to do something like that because you just have a different perspective than 99% of people who watch that promo because you happen to be an expert in the field.
99% of the people that watch this stuff, yeah, you're exactly right, because I'm looking at it from a professional perspective to where, well, my students, just say, for instance, that promo, and my students are in that position one day. What should you be thinking? What should you be thinking about? And for me, it's very, very easy. I don't know, maybe because I've always been the character. I've always tried to step outside, and I've seen people say, I've never seen any great promos from Booker T. Well, I've never looked at myself as a great promo guy or anything like that. But I was a guy that could talk on the mic. I was a guy that could put words together, and you go, okay, I can dig that. You feel me? I can dig that. So. But like I say, take nothing away from CM Punk, man. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad AEW fans are digging this whole thing. And like I said from the beginning, man, this thing could really turn out to be something. They got something that it's just like when TNA back in the day had the 6-sided ring. I talk about that all the time. I say, man, those guys had something. They made the fans feel a different way. I actually experienced it up close and personal myself and Rhino in England. And, man, what an awesome field. It was like electric. And I was like, wow. I was like looking around. Me and Rhino looked at each other. And I don't think we touched the match for 5 minutes because the fans were going crazy. And it was something that I had never experienced outside of WWE and WCW like that. And it was new. It was fresh. That's what these guys got, man. They got something that's fresh. People are going to like it.
I said this on Twitter after that segment the CM Punk had, and even that whole show. That whole show was real good. By the way, shout out to Kiera Hogan, who was on that show. Big fan of Kiera Hogan. But I think the war is on now more than ever because I'm hearing rumors on the internets of some other familiar faces who might be joining the ranks of AEW. And we haven't even talked about Daniel Bryan's potential joining, who seems like he's almost signed. I'm telling you, this feels like 1997.
Yeah. I wish it was 97.
You're making great money, huh?
I'm serious, man. Oh, Green Duck is dog. WCW money. Yeah, I wish it was. But hey, man, we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully that cleared the air as far as CM Punk goes. But I tell you what, man, don't let him drop the ball. I'll be all over him. I'll be all over him again. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And that's a stunning elbow to the face. Oh, and look at this. She just raking Angela's face across the middle. Oh, my goodness. That's hard to watch. Oh, man, what is she thinking? Oh, no. Top rope suplex. Superplex from the champion. If enough damage hasn't been done already to Angela, that has got to be the exclamation point. She's looking for the 450. Oh! From the top rope. She's calling for shooting star press. Star press. Shooting star press cover. 1, 2, 3.
sucker! Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, man. Yeah, this thing is heating up. It's heating up, and it's heating up quick. You're talking about Daniel Bryan. It's rumor out there about Bray Wyatt. Adam Cole, I was just reading today that he's a free agent now. But I see we got some super chats, man.
Yeah, we do. Real quick, just my man Charles Gutierrez with the
super chat.
He just said, "Can you dig it?"
Hey, man, I appreciate it, bro. Can you dig it?
And one of our greatest listeners of all time, B Star, Booker, do you miss your old '90s short haircut?
Super chat. You know what, man? I tell people all the time, if I still had the flat top fade and the little mustache, you know, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I always say you got to know how to keep up with the times, or the times will pass you by. And that's real. That's real talk. I try my best to understand what's going on in the world as far as what music, you know, people are listening to, you know, what's the coolest restaurants, what's the hottest clubs in the city. You gotta stay aware of that kind of stuff right there, because you can find yourself sitting in the house with a big belly drinking a split malt liquor every day. You know, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. Keep it with the times, baby.
Times will pass you by.
Oh, they will.
You know what? Speaking of that, I felt like last Wednesday is when AEW was in Houston here, and that was the first AEW show that I ever attended in person. And I told you it had a real vibe about it.
Yeah,
It had a vibe. And I really feel that when AEW first started, their roster was made up of a lot of guys who hadn't had that big television experience at the time. They'd mainly worked independent crowds, super talented, a lot of raw, untapped potential. But I felt like the AEW product wasn't polished at the time. And I think that I was critical. I'm like, I don't really love what I'm seeing so far. I think there's good moments. But as of now, I think they're really finding their stride. And I feel like I may have been a little bit late to the party in the sense of what they have been able to put on, go back to your word, have been entertaining shows. And then when you add guys like a Daniel Bryan, like a CM Punk, who've been there, done that in the main event of WrestleMania, wrestle for the world title. You add in guys like Chris Jericho and Christian, Miro, these guys who know what it's like to be on the biggest of big stages in front of 100,000 people. Some of them have wrestled in front of, right? In a single match, right? That's going to add so much of a benefit to your show. And for me, I think AEW is really hitting the mark on all cylinders at the current moment. Do you think that they can carry this momentum forward and be more competitive? Because as great as the CM Punk moment was, I'm right there.
Well,
the rating was 1.1 million. Okay, so still not really. They have WWE, you know, in their sights, but they haven't lined those crosshairs up to where they can really attack them from a television perspective. Do you think that they can ride this wave that they're on through All Out and then find themselves like 97 WCW?
Well, I think positioning that show Rampage right after SmackDown on Friday night, which everybody got regular TV, which that translates to cable TV. All you got to do is switch it over. Most people in the world got cable TV these days. It's definitely going to give that show a boost, a shot in the arm. My thing is, I think the blueprint, the route they're going is something that is, I don't know, from the outside looking in, you really can't see it. All you guys from the outside looking in, most of the time, only thing you see is the wrestling. But the structure, the infrastructure is something that makes you feel a certain way. And I think they're doing that very, very well, because I'm going to tell you right now, for a wrestler to be able to take a vacation 2-3 times a year, that is like, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're still getting paid. That right there goes so far, to be able to take time off work in rotation, not be the main guys all the time. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing it from that perspective, but I've been seeing it. I don't know when the last time we've seen Cody Rhodes, and it's a lot of those guys that we don't see on a regular. So I think the way they're structuring it is giving everybody a chance to actually, live.
I think so. I think that you're right. They've figured out, at least to this point, how you rotate talent in and out to keep it interesting and to keep them fresh and not overexpose them, right? Which is sometimes what a criticism of WWE is. Like, you see Randy Orton every week, or are you going to think that Randy Orton's the biggest star in the world because you see him every week? On the flip side, AEW, they do a good job. When Cody Rhodes is on the show, it feels like a special show. Or Hangman Adam Page, or Jon Moxley, or Kenny Omega for that matter.
Just think about this from a boxing perspective. If we saw Floyd Mayweather every week, Manny Pacquiao every week,
it wouldn't be a spectacle.
Come on, So I think that right there, they have done a great job as far as infrastructure and being able to rotate that roster properly to where, like you say, they're not, seen so much. They're not, the fans aren't burnt out when they see them. It's a moment to actually feel there again, like I talk about all the time, a certain way about. So I don't know, man. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think so in this case.
We'll talk some more AEW here in a moment. Dynamite is emanating live tonight. CM Punk will be on the show. I think he's cutting a promo tonight, Book. So we'll be watching.
Well, I hope it's better than the last damn promo.
So here's a super chat. You want to trend again? That's what's going on. I called Booker yesterday. I'm like, by the way, number 2 in the United States, Booker T. Anthony.
Super chat.
With his super chat says King Booker and the boat. Edge versus Rollins and Dragunov versus Walter from last weekend. What did you guys think about these matches? Shakespearean. Let me tell you what. Edge coming down, not even say coming down, coming up from the stage with the old Brood music. I know, Book, you were in WCW at the time. The Brood was on Raw, and they were bloodbath.
I remember. Come on, man.
No. But they were. You remember the bloodbaths?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what you remember. You didn't say you're getting up there. But Edge making his entrance up to the Brood music at SummerSlam. He didn't have to wrestle the match after that. I was spent after the entrance. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen Edge do. And then he and Seth Rollins, probably looking back at SummerSlam, had the match of the night.
And the thing is, I said Edge is getting a chance to, paint his Picasso. He's doing some really, really good work, and he's getting a chance to actually do it with that next generation. He's worked all the guys from back in the day, but to get a chance to work the guys like Seth Rollins and go out there, and it's like the old saying, you still got it. Edge is, he's a guy that still got it, but he's changed his style up a little bit. He's not like the old Edge. He's a totally different guy out there right now. If you watch him go out and perform, he's willing to actually throw sometimes a little bit of caution to the wind now, opposed to the older Edge. So I don't know, man. I think Edge still got a lot left in the tank, and that match was, perhaps match of the night.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I think that we did.
The Walter match, I actually didn't see that match.
Yeah.
Walter, I didn't see that match, but I can say this: when it comes to somebody that makes this business feel real, when this guy walks out, you go, "Wow, okay, let's see exactly what happens here." And then when the bell rings, you say, "Damn, who is this guy?" I wish Walter was on a regular basis on the main roster here, Raw, SmackDown, because he is actually that good and that believable, more so than anything.
I agree with you there. Jennifer with a
super chat,
$5 Canadian. To me, Book is saying it could have been better. Is that accurate? And thank you for so many great memories.
There again, is that accurate? That's the question. And the thing is, that's the question for so many people. For so many people, it may not be accurate. And I understand that. But come on, we in a world right now where if we tried to pass the seatbelt law, we couldn't do it. Okay.
We're so polarized. Yeah.
Exactly.
Everything's a controversy.
Everything's a controversy. And I'm not trying to make it a controversy or anything like that. Like Brad said earlier, I look at this thing from a perspective, and that perspective is, I'm a teacher. I'm trying to school the young guys coming up to, and there again, to each his own. CM Punk is in a certain place in his life. CM Punk is different than most wrestlers that ever put on a pair of boots, okay? Because most of them didn't get, the accolades of a CM Punk. But as far as I'm concerned, there's always a learning moment in every situation in this business right here. And when you stop learning, you got a problem.
I definitely agree with that. And Ken, I think you said last week with you came back to the curtain one time and you thought you killed it, and Vince calls you over. He's like, "Yeah, why don't you do it this way?"
Exactly. And
you're like, "Oh man, why didn't I do it that way?"
Hey, we got a super chat, man. We're gonna take it on the back end here. We gotta take a quick break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. See, we got a super chat, Brad.
Yes, let me get it now.
Super chat.
All right, this is from Stellar Justin Lopez. Walter said in an interview he doesn't want to go to the WWE or do the WWE road schedule because he wants to be able to still live in Europe.
Hey, I could totally understand that. I could totally understand that 100%. As well as if I'm the WWE and I'm trying to build a company, Walter is the guy I'm going to want to be right there somewhere near the top. Everybody's going to be chasing, he's going to be right there on somebody's heels. So yeah, I get that. But like I say, if I had the chance, if I had a choice, if I could get him, he is the type of guy I would want to build around right here, Raw, SmackDown, because he is just that good. Yeah.
To go back to something that we were talking about right before we wrapped, you being a teacher and everything like this. This was the funny thing also from that thing, if we can just spend one more moment on it. Why were you compared the whole day to Jim Cornette? Why were people like, hey, Jim Cornette liked it?
Well, you know why?
Jim Cornette liked it.
Well, this is the thing right here, because Jim Cornette hates everything else. And he finally liked something. So I don't know, and I don't know why they compared me to Jim Cornette, because I'm totally different than Jim. But I must say, I must say, most of the times, Jim Cornette and we agree on a lot of stuff, a lot of thoughts and the way he see the wrestling business, and the way certain things are done. And I agree with him 100%. On most of them. And the CM Punk thing, I don't think I disagree with him, other than the point to where, he said it was perfect. I don't think it was perfect.
Right.
Okay. So I can agree to disagree with you on that. And then if Jim Cornette and I was to sit down and have a conversation and talk about this, I might be able to convince him, you know,
Let's have him on the show.
Exactly.
Jim Cornette, come on the show.
You know what I mean? So I look at it from that, or he may have convinced me. So it goes both ways. It's just like, for instance, a lot of times we're in the war room at Reality Wrestling. We're going over ideas. You guys, you know, Brad, you know, Kevin, you know, Kirby, whoever, you know, guys come up with ideas, and you know, they may be good ideas, and I got an idea for it as well, and then we weigh it, and then I might say, man, you guys' idea is better than mine. That's happened many, many times.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay to you know, to agree to disagree. You know, I thought my way was better. Okay, but okay, your way is better. Okay, you convinced me. So I got an open mind when it comes to, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Adam Cole, how big of an impact player would he be if he did jump ship? Now, Adam Cole worked his last NXT date on his contract, currently a free agent, going to test the market. Maybe he comes back to WWE. Maybe he goes to AEW. But let's play devil's advocate and say, yeah, Adam Cole shows up the same place where his wife currently works, the current AEW World Women's Champion, Britt Baker, or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Let me get that right for the edit. For I'm trending. I don't want to be trending.
Exactly.
How big of an impact would that be for them to have that roster of recent signees, including CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, Malachi Black, and then Adam Cole? That'd be quite the power punch.
You know, I don't look at it like you know, a single, you know, situation. I look at it like, you know, from a unit perspective. I look at it like, just say, for instance, if I got a football team, I gotta fill every spot on the roster, okay? And everybody got to be the best at what they do in that position on the roster, okay? So that's the way I'm looking at it right there. So as well as, just like, say, for instance, if this was the military, okay, I need another soldier, you know, that's going to be ready to step up and ranks and commands at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean? And a guy like Adam Cole definitely is a guy like that. You know what I mean? Because he could work, he could perform at a very, very high level. You could put him with, you know, anybody, and they can go out there and give you what you need. And that, for me, is what I'm thinking about when it comes to a show. Guys that can get out there and perform, guys that can get out there and go, and bring, you know, behinds to seats and ratings to this television product that we have here. So yeah, he'll be a hell of a soldier. He'll be a hell of a teammate to that addition. Any way you look at it, because the guy's he's obviously a team player because he's been down there in NXT since day one.
Yeah. He's been along with the program as soon as he came over. He hadn't come up to Raw or SmackDown as a permanent fixture on the main roster at all. So I think that he's one of those talents that you don't want to lose. And that if the wrestling world was a pick-em basketball game, a pickup basketball game, and we're having to pick teams, I see Adam Cole's over there. I'm like, oh no, Adam Cole, you might be coming first.
Yeah, his ass will be playing point guard.
Well, I'm not putting him at the 5, but he looks like he can distribute the ball rather well. And I bet you he's a deadly shooter.
He better be. He better be like Steph Curry.
Look. If a white guy's on a team, he's got to be able to shoot. That's the role that we've been given in the NBA. We have a shot. You know what I mean? That's about it.
Man, but it'll be a hell of an addition, though. He really would. No doubt.
No, Adam Cole's awesome. And, you know, he was another guy who I heard his name all the time on the indies. And when I started seeing matches of his regularly in NXT, I said, this guy's sensational.
Well,
I mean, he's sensational.
I don't know. I'm a fan. You know, I've talked very, very highly of Adam Cole since day one. I've been a guy that have said he's extraordinary talent. I've watched this guy go out and perform at a very, very high level. He's one of those guys that's not the biggest guy in the room, but guys like Jericho wasn't the biggest guy in the room, but they knew how to work 6'3" tall or better. I'm serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's guys, it's certain guys. Shawn Michaels was one of those guys, and a lot of people compare, him to Shawn Michaels. So Adam Cole definitely has a future, no matter what. He's a guy that's got a future in this business. I see we got a super chat.
Yeah, here we go. Let's take this one from Sam. Says, any thoughts on Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, man. It's been a rumor. Bray Wyatt is pretty much a done deal in AEW as well. And for me, I'm not going to even call him Bray Wyatt anymore. Okay, because he's definitely going to step in as someone else, and I'm curious to see who that may be. That's the anticipation right now as far as that young man goes. The man with no name, who is he going to be, and what is he going to bring to the table now, and how creative, can he actually, take himself? Of course, Bo Dallas out there as well. So, we never know what we're going to see. So, yeah, man, I see a lot of things, a lot of parts moving right now.
And, I could see him coming in and joining the Dark Order, right? Brody Lee was the leader of the Dark Order. Obviously, there's the Wyatt family connection there. I don't know. Maybe that's a way to bring him in. Joe Cronin Show.
Super chat.
WWE made CM Punk so sick that he left, then decided to actually get beat up in the UFC. I like it. That's what Joe Cronin said. Well,
we've
talked a lot about Punk's UFC.
Don't skip over this man's question, man. We got.
I didn't. I'm just saying we've addressed this when he was fighting.
We didn't address that
when he was fighting.
What was the question again? Put it back.
Well, there's no question. There's no question. He just said. Where is it? Right here. He just said WWE made Punk so sick that he left and decided to get actually beat up in the UFC, or actually get beat up in the UFC.
Well, my thing is this. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on that right there, but I don't know, man. I understand the getting sick part, but just say, for instance, if CM Punk never went to WWE, maybe would have went to Japan and became just as famous. I don't know, but I think WWE made CM Punk a very famous guy, and I think the getting sick part, I understand that too, because you're dealing with a whole lot of things, and there again, I say it all the time. I wasn't in CM Punk's position. Okay, people don't remember. I left WWE. Okay, I didn't get fired. I left WWE, and it was for certain reasons. People, I've never, disclosed those reasons or anything like that. But I wasn't in the greatest place, when I left. But I understand those are personal issues as far as the getting sick part. But I do know the fans that love CM Punk, they became fans when he was in the WWE. I wouldn't say not all of them, of course, but
some were there before. Yeah, I mean, it's how I found out about CM Punk, was through the WWE. I didn't watch any independent wrestling. The first time I saw him was on ECW, and this guy said he was a straight edge, and I was like, oh, this guy looks interesting. He has a Pepsi.
He's like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't smoke or drink. So I found him interesting through WWE.
Exactly my point. So I understand being so upset with how things fell out. But it was a lot of WWE universe, that loved CM Punk and cheered for CM Punk and wanted the best for CM Punk. And a lot of those fans grew to know CM Punk in the WWE. That's the part that I just,
I hear you.
The thing is, it don't rub me the wrong way or anything like that. I just think, oh, man, I don't know.
I hear you. We got to take a break, BT.
We got to take a break. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And your question for the win. In The Insider, Al Pacino's character works on which TV show?
Is it 60 Minutes?
And your winner!
The Movie Trivia Schmodown, the most competitive movie trivia league in the world.
It's MMA or boxing. It's like you want to see the two best scrapping it out.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
2 points.
Movie release
Keep
date.
it. Wow.
Danny DeVito.
That's correct. You mother. The rising sun. And your winner.
Championships, factions, the best in the world play here.
I'm ready to schmo down. Throw down with the schmo down.
This is why we play the Schmodown.
The professional sports league of movie trivia. This isn't bar trivia. This is the movie trivia Schmodown.
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Where we at, man? I mean, just
Well,
to make. Go ahead.
I did have some I wanted to bring up.
What you got?
I don't know if you got to watch Monday Night Raw on Monday. Did you see Karrion Kross's new look?
Yeah, he looked like the Humongous back in the day. If you go back and look at some pictures of the Humongous back in the day, he looks almost identical to that character, especially played here in Houston, Texas. Back in the day, it was a huge angle back in the day at Houston wrestling with the Humongous. So yeah, I saw it. I know it was new to you though, right?
Well, no, to me it looked like the Savage King from reality wrestling. That's what I thought of.
Right.
I will say, I wasn't the biggest fan of it personally.
Right.
Personally speaking, I don't know. Let me ask you this, because I feel like Karrion Kross right now is a really good analogy or example of how NXT and WWE are two different things, right? I mean, just because something's working in NXT doesn't mean it necessarily work in WWE and vice versa or whatever. But I don't know why you could. And I'm asking you this because you're the expert, you're the promoter. I want you to look at it through a promoter's perspective. Why, if something is working one place, do you change it in another place? Like if you have a formula that works, right? Why alter that? Like, you remember when Coca-Cola did New Coke?
Yeah.
And it was one of the biggest bombs in the history of any marketing campaign ever, almost put Coca-Cola out of business.
Yep. I remember that.
Because they changed something that people already liked. Why do you think that something is changed when it's working? This is just my opinion. You look at through the expert promoter eyes.
No, I can't answer that.
Well, like when I look at it, as a let me just say this, as a fan, I'm looking at it as a fan. When I see Karrion Kross in NXT, I'm like, okay, awesome entrance. Got a beautiful woman on his side, gorgeous woman, right? Has a cool look, big guy, and he's undefeated. Okay. Then he comes over to Raw. It's like, okay, that's what's cool about him. Okay, let's take away the entrance. Let's take away the girl. Let's put him in a ill-fitting mask and let's beat him on his first night. That's what I see. Now I could be. Look. I could be wrong.
Don't use my words.
I could be wrong.
No,
I was like, I'm not sure what's going on.
No, you know what? I can't answer that. I can't even. I really can't. Because my consensus would be until it's not working, we keep everything just like it is. That's me. That's me right there. I mean, it's just like Savage King right now. It's working. I say, what more can we add to it? Not take anything away. Can we get him some more Trojans to, work? We need 10 of them this week. That's what I'm saying. We need at least 3 girls this week instead of 1. Can we get some grapes? To go. To go. So I'm thinking from that perspective right there. I can't tell you, man. I can't tell you, why things are done there a certain way. I just don't know, because I like the Karrion Kross, character. I like the Scarlet, interest, man, because it was just so hot. I don't know if you guys ever, most of you guys probably never have, but You could look it up on YouTube. Zumanity, okay? And you look up. You pause, Brad. I couldn't hear you right there.
No, I was just saying Zumanity.
Okay. You look up Zumanity, and just check it out for 1 minute, and that's what Scarlett was for me. And with Karrion Kross, it made you say, "Man, this is something here that's sensual." It has a certain feel to it. Man, this woman here, oh man, I'm tuning in. I don't give a damn about Karrion Kross. I just want to see her. That's for me. Is something that it works. Zumanity is Cirque du Soleil.
Okay.
And it is one of the most awesome shows if you're off into that you're ever going to see in your life.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, well, I've committed that to memory.
No, I'm serious, man. You got to go check it out, man, when you're in Vegas.
But it's kind of like when you were King Booker and you had Queen Sharmell, you had the British accent, you had the pinky and the slow entrance. Oh, hail King Booker. And it's working. And then one day it's just like, okay, ditch the crown, ditch the accent. Sharmell could stay home. No more pinky. That's ridiculous.
I'm gonna answer that question for you. I see we got a couple of super chats though, man. Let's get them.
Okay. Here we go.
Super chat.
This is from Otis Linkman. Jade Cargill with Booker T's training and wisdom is a guaranteed megastar. She has the look, charisma, and aura, but she doesn't have a deep move set. Big fan of Jade Cargill ever since she made her debut in that Shaq match on AEW. What do you think of that one, Book?
You know what? That's the thing, man. I love working with people like Jade because she didn't have to have a huge move set to be able to go out and really be a ring master, to be able to go out there and perform at a very, very high level. Like I said, you don't have to be doing anything, jumping over the top rope, throwing caution to the wind, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've never done a plunger. From the inside to the outside. I've never done that. Early in my career, people know me from doing the Harlem Hangover. But I did the Harlem Hangover about 10 times in my career. People don't realize that. I did that move about 10 times, 20 tops. Scissor kick, something very, very simple. Spin kick, very, very simple. My move set was very, very simple. So somebody for Jade, knowing the psychology, knowing the ring positioning, knowing what I call being in position to being out of position at the same time. It's so many little bitty things that working with someone like that, she's got everything. When you look at her in the box. But being able to go out there and perform with the bell ring and tell a story is something that I've told even some of the girls in WWE. You got to be able to tell a story and perform and make people feel, not just see. And so definitely, I agree with you there. Definitely could be one of the greats.
All right, let's see. We have another
super chat.
This is from R. London. Just wanted to say that I truly enjoyed your run as King Booker. You were the best King of the Ring.
Hey, man, I was the best king. Brad was just talking about that. They took everything away from King Booker. Would King Booker have been, such a great king? And I agree with you 100%, man. King Booker would not have been King Booker without the lovely Queen Sharmell, first and foremost. And then when they gave me the King Court, Regal and Finley, man, it was such an awesome deal. To have the trumpeters, it was like so much fun, so royal, so regal, so majestic, so sensual, at the same time. And the Karrion Kross thing with Scarlett. So yeah, man, I would not have been a great king without all of the surroundings, especially my lovely Queen Sharmell.
Absolutely. Another
super chat
from me, only me. Hey, Book, huge fan. I have a quick question. Goldberg said in an interview that Vince Russo was a plant. sent by Vince McMahon. A lot have felt like that. Since you were in WCW, did you feel like that? That is a conspiracy I've heard, that Vince sent Russo over to like destroy WCW from within.
You know what, man? That was a lot of question back in the day, man. A lot of people always thought that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I thought it too.
Oh, really?
At one point, just because the matches just were totally out of nowhere, out of left field. And all the matches were like 5 minutes. And it was just like, it was crazy. Everything was a gimmick. And we were like, what the hell is going on here? But when he made me the world champ, and
all of a sudden, hey, you know what? I like this guy. Plant? No way. He made me the world champ.
this guy is so bad. not just that. Not just that, man. But Vince never hired him back. You know,
Yeah,
it seemed like Vince would have, after everything, blew up, seemed like Vince would have hired him back. Storylines with, he would have created some more Rocks, some more Undertakers, and some more, guys like that. So
Love it. Love it.
I'm just telling it like it is, man. God made me the world champ, man, so he couldn't have been a plan. He had to see something, and, of talent. You know what I mean? Guys, we got to take a break, man.
Broken clock, right? Twice a day.
Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Man, I've been trying to keep from crying, man, this show. Man. I've been laughing the whole time. But that's what this show is about, man. Trying to have some fun, trying to entertain, trying to make you guys feel a certain way when you watch and listen to the show, man. Thanks for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, guys.
Yeah, always much appreciated.
Always.
All the things going on in the pro wrestling world. It's been an interesting few days, but we always appreciate you joining us. Speaking of big news, Blake Cortez signed to a WWE contract.
Yeah.
Your student.
I tell you, man, Chase is a kid that, he works hard. He worked really, really hard to get a chance, get a shot, and not knowing that shot was going to come like that quick. He talked to me before he had to try out, and I say, what? He said, what should I concentrate on? And I say, you're smart. I say, you actually have a inkling for what's going on out there. And Blake Cortez, guys, one of my students at Reality Wrestling, got signed by WWE. I was going to be going into the NXT program. I'm proud of him. But I just told him, I say, Just do what you do. And that's going to be pretty much better than most of the guys at the tryout. Trust me. I say don't do anything other than that. And they're going to see that you're coachable more than anything. And I'm proud. I'm proud to see him make it to that next level. And every one of my students that I work with, it's the only thing I want for them guys and the girls is to go out there and represent what you learned at reality, what was taught and what you learned at Reality Wrestling. You got your tool bag, of course. They're going to teach you a whole lot of different things, but just remember what you got in your tool bag over there, and you're going to be okay. So I can't wait to see Blake make it to that next level. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. Just like Angela right now. Zeta Ramirez doing her thing down there. And we got many more, like I say, Cam Cole, Will Alday. These guys, they're going to get their shot. They're going to get their shot. And let's not forget about who else we got down there looking to make their big break. The Rose.
Rachel Rose, Promise Braxton.
I think the Rose is ready to make a big move as well. And she's been getting looked at as well. So I tell you, man, we got a lot of promising talent at Reality Wrestling.
We definitely do. And I'm excited for Edge Stone, to name another one, Roxy, Promise Braxton. Yep. So many talented people. It's just always cool, though, to see the progression. Because I think Blake Cortez has only been there a year.
Been there 1 year, man. He's been there 1 year, but he's been like really working really hard to learn the hardest part, I think, about the business is psychology. And for me to have a guy like Blake Cortez that I could put out in the ring with 1 year experience without a net, and that means that he wasn't in the gym all week working on this match. He didn't get to the arena and everything was scripted. He got there, figured it out, got in the ring and performed. And I didn't tell him anything other than, this is what I need. I tell you, it's amazing for a kid 1 year in to be able to do that, because I'm not that trusting with someone that young, that early in the game to go out there and work like that. So,
because what is he, 22?
He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
wow.
He's still in his infancy stages to where he didn't even know a whole lot, and he got signed. So I can only imagine a year literally grinding what that kid's going to look at. I'm not going to be able to recognize him. Trust me, in another year.
What's so interesting too is he's a very unassuming guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's jacked. That's not what I mean. I think he was in the Marines for a few years, but he's very quiet to himself. He doesn't say a whole lot. And we had to shoot that thing with him at Summer of Champions. And I was a little not concerned, but I'm like, okay, I hope, it gets up for it. So I even remember going up to him and be like, hey, I just want to make sure, get up for it, right? Like, get loud. And I did not need to give him that information. I did not need to give that information, because he went up there when we shot that thing. Red light came on.
Boom.
Obviously, he's a red light guy, because he sold it one take. That's all we needed to do. Wrap it up, send it to print. We're good to go. So I think that he's going to be a sensational addition to that roster. And who knows where he's going to be in 5 years. He made it to WWE in less than a year. So we'll see what happens in 5.
No, I think that's the thing right there. It's so much more room for improvement. I was, like I said, I was proud he got chosen, but I really didn't think he was going to get chosen the first time he went down and did a tryout. I just didn't think that. That's just totally not something that normally happens to be a kid 1 year in the business. And next thing you know, you're working for a company like WWE. It could be on television here shortly, so that normally doesn't happen. So I was totally surprised, but not at the same time. Not surprised that, he was chosen. Just surprised that it happened for him so quick,
I wasn't surprised he was getting.
I look at him and I look at Brennan Williams, who came through Mace, as well. He was there for less than a year, but he's a guy that's 6 foot 7 inches tall. We can use you. We'll figure out something for you.
Just
You know what
sign
I
him.
mean? But Blake, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's not the smallest guy in the world, but he's young and he's got so much, like I say, growth left. So I'm excited about where this kid's going to go.
Crazy athlete. Crazy athlete. I mean, that his vertical leap is something crazy. So congrats again to him. It's awesome to see him get signed to a WWE deal. What was it like for you when you got your first contract? Like when they sent it in the mail, they said, hey, we want to pay you this much money if you sign on the dotted line to go out there and be a performer.
$75,000. And I was like, man, I was pretty excited. I was pretty
This 75,000 in 1992 or whatever, 91.
91. Yeah, there was like 75,000 start, and every 3 months you get a bump. And I was like, oh, okay. Where's the pay at? We ain't got to talk about nothing else, because I was making about $15,000 a year at that time. No, maybe a little bit more with a I had an apartment that I was given as well. So with the apartment expenses, I was probably making about $25,000 a year at that point in time. So with 75,000 for me, I was like, man, wow. I didn't know you can get paid that much money doing professional wrestling. That was my thing. I just didn't know you could actually, make a living and a career out of professional. I just didn't think that was possible because, we were getting paid $25 here, $50 here. A good payoff was $125 maybe. And then for someone to tell you that we're going to pay you $75,000 a year, I was like, wow, I'm rich.
Sure. I mean, $75,000 isn't anything to shake a stick at in 2021, let alone 1991.
Yeah, definitely, man. Seriously. So, yeah, man, it was an exciting moment. But then, you realize the work starts for that 75,000. And for my brother and I at that time, we were on the road excess of sometime 20 days a month. Okay. House shows, TV, house shows, making runs. It was the craziest schedule you ever could think about. So that $75,000 really wasn't a whole lot of money when you really thought about it, because you had to eat, you had hotel expenses and whatnot. So it got you in the door. But it was still a whole lot of work to do before you ever could think you could, for the least bit, get comfortable. You know what I mean? It's all work, man. It's all work.
We do have a super chat. Let's try to get to it here before the break. This is from Scott, who says,
Super chat.
Will WWE go back to TV 14? Do you think it's been too corporate for the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I disagree with that. I really can't, because, people want to, just like you, what are you right now? 26?
28, book.
28? Yeah, man, you're getting old.
I know.
I missed a couple of years there.
That means you're getting old.
No, what was I talking about? TV 14. No, man. My thing is this: people want to. People, as they get older, their tastes. You got to give them a little bit of something different. For me, when I wake up in the morning, I can't eat cereal. Okay. It might mess with my stomach. Milk might mess with my stomach. My taste is more matured now. I need some eggs, you know what I mean, with, a slice of avocado, some tomato on the side. I'll take a slice of bacon, you know what I mean? But I eat a little bit different as I'm older, you know what I mean? And I think that's what I think, with the show, just say, for instance, AEW, they're able to, a person like Brad went to the show at 28 years old and was able to feel a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got some beers. They got beer, don't you? They serving beer. So if they serving beer, and it's a vibe, it could really be a vibe going on. You know what I mean?
It'll be a party.
Exactly, because you're beginning to feel a certain way. You got a buzz going, and you're liking what's happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's a huge point that's been missing over the last couple of years, because us adult fans, man, we want to come and see there again Scarlett, do her thing, just like we did back in the day when, Sable came to the ring and when Trish Stratus came to the ring. And, we loved that part of the show. And I do think that part of the show is just very, very important. I think we got to get back to it.
Absolutely.
We got to take a quick break, and we'll get that super chat on the back end. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame.
This is Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, the home to the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. It's a 20,000 square foot facility with more than 50 full-time students and wrestlers from around the world. Inside the World Gym Arena sits a 9,000 square foot venue set up for weekly shows.
From up top, 1-2 moonsault.
Where our students showcase their skills in front of a live audience.
What he's done here is awesome. He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
In the back, a full weight room.
6 up.
Complete with state-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers.
There you go. Two more.
A full staff and office personnel.
One more.
Running the day-to-day operation. We have interview sets for TV production, promo classes, quarterly combines. We evaluate progression and team building. Referees, commentators, ring announcers, and live television production. At the World Gym Arena, we don't just teach you how to become a professional wrestler, but an elite sports entertainer. This is Reality of Wrestling.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I see we got a super chat, Brad, that we want.
We do.
Hey, but before we take that super chat, I see it's another one. It's not a super chat, and it was an excellent question. It was Daniel Price that said, being publicly traded gives WWE way more appeal with global investors and the New York Stock Exchange. AEW, not so much. You know what? And that's true. And I totally understand that. I was listening to Tony Khan say we had, excuse me, not Tony Khan, Nick Khan said if we had 4 hours of television, it's just more money there. No, so I think when a company like WWE, it thinks a whole lot different than a company like AEW, because they have different investors, they have different people that they have to answer to. It's not just one person, calling all the shots, especially when you got a boardroom to deal with, so it's a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, now let me say, I don't think that 4 hours is beneficial for the product. It might make it more money. I don't know if makes it a better show, but WWE has made more money this year and last year than they've ever made in the history of the company. That's with Hogan and Austin and Rock and Booker and Jericho and all the top guys, Cena and CM Punk and all the top guys they've had. They made more money the last 2 years than they've ever made. So I don't think that they're planning on changing anything, especially from a rating perspective. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to think of what's a kid's brand. Toys R Us isn't around anymore, but no. the Mattel is more likely to sponsor a TV PG show than a TV 14 show. It just, you cast a wider net. It's why it's why movie studios try to make sure movies are PG-13 and not rated R, because more people can see them when they're PG-13, right?
Yeah. Like I say, it's a balancing act. And the thing is, I really try not to get into making those kind of decisions, because I don't know what I would do if it was mine.
Right.
If it were mine, I might do the exact same thing. So I try not to make those boardroom decisions for people, that's got those positions. I just don't. But let's go ahead and take that super chat.
All right, this one is from, man, we got a lot of comments. Okay, this is from Roland.
Super chat.
I like wrestling wars. I agree with you, Roland. Lesnar and Lynch's return countered CM Punk's return. Goldberg countered Stone Cold. Was Booker T the counter to The Rock? Both men won their first singles titles, TV and IC, in 1997. The bookend versus The Rock Bottom.
Yeah, I don't know if I was the counter to The Rock, but I think we definitely had a lot in common, being on different shows and being WWF and me being WCW at that time. I was able to actually be able to go out and, compete somewhat, so to speak, on that level with someone like The Rock. So in WCW, I guess I was the people's champion in WCW, so there was a lot of combating at that time. I do remember being in the WCW, television room, and they would have WWF on the screen, and it would be something coming up at the 9 o'clock hour, and book, get ready, you're going in at 9 o'clock, and I was like, but you think we're gonna win the war that way? It's the stupidest plan in the world to think we can combat their show by watching it, but no advertisement, just have a match. I'm like, it's crazy at that time, but yeah, I can see that.
You know what? Hey, man, it was a crazy time for everybody. Back in the wrestling wars, I think that there is such a thing as counter programming. Look, did Brock Lesnar's return have anything to do with the potential impending return of CM Punk to AEW? I think that's a perfectly logical thing to think, right? Yeah. I think it's perfectly logical to think, hey, they got CM Punk coming in. All right, get Brock on the phone. See if he's ready to come back. That makes sense to me. Oh, Sasha's out? It'd be great. Let's get Becky, right? I think that's totally a normal thing to do, especially when you're in the midst of battle, like we've been talking about. I think that it's the reason why I like a wrestling war. You always run faster when there's someone chasing you. It's just how it is. When someone is pushing you to be better, you will become better. And for LeBron James, it's chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, like he's talked about before. That is what pushes him. That is what drives him. If you're WWE or AEW and one show's kicking ass and you're like, man, we can't let them do that, you're going to think of how you counter it. And it was the same back in WCW. I think to definitely a certain extent, Booker T was a counter to The Rock. Maybe was that the reason for you doing what you're doing? No, but Stone Cold Goldberg, I've heard Eric Bischoff say, hey, they both had bald heads and black tights. You think that was by accident? And goatees. It wasn't by accident.
Yeah, right.
We were trying to, and I remember there used to be this toy store in Baybrook Mall called KB Toys. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. And I remember going in there as a kid, right when in the late 90s, wrestling's super popular. I saw a wrestling doll, one of those Wrestle Buddies, and it had a bald head, a goatee, and black tights. I thought it was Steve Austin. So that's why I bought it, right? I was a WWF guy. Turned out it was Bill Goldberg, right? If it was a Bill Goldberg toy. I didn't know that. Right. I thought it was Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So, the counter programming definitely works.
No, I mean, it's a war. I mean, it's definitely a war. And right now with, the bombs dropping on AEW side, with guys, showing up, potentially like a Bray Wyatt, potentially like a Adam Cole, Daniel Bryan. We haven't talked about Daniel Bryan, of course, how big he would be making his, entry into AEW. Yeah, man, that right there, it just lets you know that we plan to run, and we're planning to run hard. It's just like that Jamaican track team right now, man. He's smoking. The USA, man, we like, what the hell's going on, man? We need Carl Lewis back. I'm serious, but it's amazing. Like I say, to see it happening, but to watch it from the outside is actually pretty cool. Also, because like you said, this side is gonna, counteract what this side do. And that right there for me as a fan, sitting back and watching, wondering, man, how big can this thing actually, get? Because I remember the ratings, being 3.5, 4s, 5s, having 5 million people, watching professional wrestling show a week. That right there for me, I don't think we're that far from actually, getting wrestling back to that point. But changing the whole name of the game is something I think AEW is actually doing. And there again, creating that competition is good for everybody.
And like you said earlier about our students and all kinds of pro wrestlers around the world, it's more places to work.
I tell you, man, right now I said it, not too long ago that the independent wrestling world is the biggest it's ever been right now. We got so many shows going on around the world to where, one of my students, I just, was talking to him last week, a couple of weeks ago. I said, how many bookings you taking a month? And he said, about 8. And I go, 8 bookings a month? He goes, yeah, about 8 bookings. And I go, wow, you know what I mean? So he's subsidizing, his job, with his wrestling job that he's doing on the weekend, you know what I mean? So he's doing 2 shows pretty much a week, and that right there for me is pretty incredible for these young guys because we didn't have that coming up. And then it leads to, the WrestleMania weekend, which, WrestleMania weekend is not just WrestleMania, of course, it's every independent wrestling company around. So you know how many independent wrestlers are wrestling that weekend alone? WrestleCon, of course. You got independent wrestlers that show up at WrestleCon and they're famous wrestlers, independent wrestlers.
Yeah.
And people buy their merch. So it's as big.
I mean, that's how Young Bucks came up.
Exactly my point. So right now it's as big as it's ever been. Guys, I got a little show. It's called The Indies with the Booker T. It airs right here on YouTube as well. Every Thursday, 6 p.m., where I interview the independent wrestlers of the world's guys coming up. And I tell you, man, just to hear their stories is pretty incredible for me because a lot of their stories are so different. They get in this business from literally all walks of life, but the one thing that they all have in common is they love it and they want to make it to the next level. They want to be great, and that's what the Indies is really all about. Seeing these young guys do their thing, and if I can give them the rub, that's what I do. That's what I do. So hey, man, check out the show Thursday 6 p.m. right here on YouTube as well, and I think you'll like it.
It's going to be great. BT, it's been a phenomenal week and a memorable one for us here at the Hall of Fame, but it is time that we sadly say goodbye to all of our fine folks.
You got to get up out of here, man. I got a golf tournament going on here over the weekend, so I got to work on my swing. And so guys, wish me luck. Bradley, I appreciate you. Guys out there in the chat, we appreciate you guys. All the super chatters, appreciate you guys. Super chat. We out of here, man.